This video is on job crafting, what it is and how to do it. It's based on a theory to practice briefing, white paper from the University of Michigan's Center for Positive Organizational Scholarship. And this is a really important topic, and it's going to be interactive. We're going to actually walk you through how to do job crafting. And it's important because it's been shown to be an essential practice for a happier work life, better work-life kind of satisfaction or work-life balance, and ultimately being more effective.
As international public speakers and best-selling authors, stay tuned to hear Paul and Jackson teach the practical science behind happiness and success.
So let's start with the definition. What is job crafting? And this comes straight from the researchers at Michigan. Job crafting captures what employees do to redesign their own jobs in ways that can foster job satisfaction, as well as engagement, resilience, and thriving at work. So basically, job crafting is when you as an individual are empowered to customize your work in order to enjoy it more. And importantly, right, this should be in a way that is aligned to the benefit of your team, your department, your organization. So how can an individual, how can you get started actually doing this? Like crafting your job so that it feels more fulfilling and you enjoy the work you're doing a little bit more. Well, there's three paths, we could say, to job crafting. There's task crafting, relational crafting, and cognitive crafting. So let's touch on each of those. Task crafting, that's when you expand the boundaries of your work or kind of adjust the boundaries of your work to either do more of the tasks that you enjoy or eliminate some of the tasks that you don't enjoy. So again, you have to kind of not totally throw out your own job description here. There are certain things that you have to do, but an example of this might be someone who works in marketing who really enjoys elements of event planning. So he decides to take on this thread of planning company events. Think about relational crafting. How can you change the way that you relate to your peers or the people you manage or your clients themselves? So one example from this paper was a hairstylist who really enjoys teaching. He would give some helpful tips and tricks and kind of how-to info to the clients he worked with. So another one was, I think it was a maintenance technician who really enjoyed teaching people, and so he started training the new hires. So that one's particularly kind of a mix of task crafting and relational crafting. Third, cognitive crafting. That's when you reframe your perceptions of the work you're doing. So maybe you're a lawyer and you do kind of marriage and custody work, and so you reflect on how your work is improving the lives of children and families. So important to understand, like this can be formally sanctioned by management, and if you are in a leadership role, this is something that you can encourage the people you work with or that you manage to do for themselves. But this also tends to happen a lot of times just informally and intuitively, with people gravitating towards doing more of what they like and less of what they don't like. And there are really three phases, and that's where we're going to start to walk you through how to actually do job crafting for yourself. So phase one is having a motivation to change. So you have a need or desire to kind of control your work, get more of a sense of meaning and purpose, and to kind of positively identify with the work you're doing. You may also want to kind of fulfill your passion for either a skill set that's not totally related to your current occupation or a relatively different occupation. And finally, you may just want to have more meaningful interactions with the people that you work with and the customers and clients that benefit from your work. So this phase one is motivation. Next, those crafting techniques that I talked about: task, relational, and cognitive. When you think about task crafting, think about the number, the type, or nature of the tasks. Can I spend more time and energy on the ones that I really enjoy? And maybe there's some periphery tasks that I can work with my team to delegate out to people who enjoy doing those more. Interacting with others. How can I improve my relationship to my customers? Can I tailor things to fit their specific preferences? Maybe with my team, can we change our approach to work so that each person is doing things that they enjoy a little bit more? Or finally, can I just kind of reframe maybe how I think of the people that I work with, right? Maybe kind of in becoming a little more intimate or investing in some of those friendships and kind of team building type things that can seem a little cliche, I know sometimes, but ultimately contribute to your working life satisfaction. And then finally, on the cognitive side, some approaches you can take. How can you reframe the work you're doing to tie it to the kind of social purpose and impact it's having on the world? Can you change your view of adversity or stress? Maybe kind of thinking about the elements of your work that you don't like so much and thinking of them maybe in terms of challenges or areas to grow in, or just a more positive, again, kind of cognitive reframe. So what I'll invite you to do now, and as we wrap up this video, you can take a few minutes after, is maybe start to list out, maybe in 2 columns under task crafting, what are things I want to do more of? What are things I want to try to do less of? Under the interactions with others and the relational crafting, maybe you think of colleagues and then you think of customers. You think, well, what are ways that I can change and improve my relationships with either my clients and customers or the people I work with? And then finally, under this kind of cognitive perception of work, you might reflect on, what are some things I can change from maybe things I don't like so much to maybe challenges or areas to grow in? And also, can you reflect on the kind of real world impact your work's having? And can you do things at your work that would bring you closer to that and have more of a positive impact? So we've talked about phase 1 is motivation, phase 2 is actually doing the crafting. Then phase 3 is kind of actually experiencing the outcomes. So maybe you're going to feel it kind of change in your relationship to your work and how it fits in with your identity. Maybe you're going to have some positive experiences. And maybe, importantly, there are going to be some unintended negative consequences. Maybe you decide to take on some extra tasks and it got too stressful. Or maybe you wanted to do a certain change and it kind of actually went against what was best for your team. An example of this is like if you say, I want to do more creative work, but you really have to do a lot of analytical work. Like you don't want to have that sort of oppositional tension, right? So as this kind of third phase is where it becomes this process of refining and iterating and seeing what's working. Because job crafting, it's great to do a one-time formal exercise like this, but ultimately it's going to be an ongoing process where you kind of check and adjust and see what's working. So this is important because this will help you improve your work-life satisfaction and it will help you to improve your performance. Right? And if you're thinking about this more as a leader, you can use job crafting to support your frontline folks especially, but also the people in management that you might work with and help them to develop their skills. So overall, you can expect to be happier at work and create a happier workplace for everyone around you.